my schedule's out the window, so let's just ignore how I've been posting. What I'm filming today is, when I bought it, it was uncut, like it had never been opened, but I've already cut out the pattern that I'm going to be using today, so that's why it's all like that. I'm going to be making the culottes. However, I'm going to have to make some changes because this is size 10, 12 and 14. Normally in like shops today, 2025, I'm a size 12. But this pattern's from the 80s and its size 14 is 28 inches in the waist. I don't have a 28 inch waist. I have a 33 inch waist. So that's not gonna fit. That's 5 inches too small. I should have looked at the measurements. I just looked at the number sizes and thought, oh yeah, and if the 12's a bit small, I'll do the 14. Well, I'm going to have to alter the pattern. I think what I'm going to do is I don't really know how to draft patterns. I can do basic stuff, and when I learn about it, it makes sense in my mind, so I don't think it will be too hard, but it's not something I know how to do off the bat. So I think I'm going to look up some tutorials on how to make a pattern bigger, because I'm going to have to make it bigger by about 5 inches. See, okay, size 14 has 38 inch hips, so I fit it in my hips, just not in my waist. But I don't know if that will make it harder trying to change just the waist measurement over changing the whole thing. But they are loose pants, so I think I could just make the whole thing a bit bigger and it would be fine. Maybe? I'm not sure. Let me look some stuff up and I'll get back to you. I'm going to trace out this pattern onto some brown paper I have and then try edit the pattern on the brown paper instead of the original tissue, because then that way if I mess up I can still come back to the default. I cut, let me come closer. I essentially cut a square, and then because I'm fine with the hips as is, and I have a very short hip to waist distance, I have a very short waist and very short hips, I don't mind that this is made at like a centimetre, like half a centimetre shorter in the waist. Oh, I had a nap with my mascara on. This waistline made it 1.5 centimetres bigger. It's supposed to be 3.6 centimetres bigger, not 1.5. I'm a genius. I'm gonna go back to the drawing board, fix this, make it 3.5 centimetres bigger. Okay, I've done a lot off camera. Firstly, I altered the pattern pieces to fit me. I cut out a rectangle, right angles, and then moved it however much I needed to. In this case it was 12.7 centimeters. Wait, no, half of that. 6.35 centimeters. I originally halved that as well because my brain wasn't braining, so that's why I've done this twice. Once I had changed all the pattern pieces to fit me, I made a mock-up out of bed sheets. I sewed all this the wrong way. It's not hemmed, it's not like, there are some pieces where it should be right sides together and it's not, because it was really hard to tell when you're working with fabric that's the same on both sides, but it doesn't really matter. All I had to know was, have I made all the pattern pieces fit me and fit each other, which I also hadn't. So I had to edit for a third time the inner lining pieces because they weren't big enough, but everything is the right size now. Let me show you the good fabric. It's like shelves with vases and things on them. Near where I live, there is a shop called The Nest. I think The Nest Community is officially, and it's a secondhand haberdashery store. This was $8 a meter, which, look, isn't the cheapest, but I haven't seen anything at Spotlight for under $12 a meter in yonks. So I think it's a good deal, and you can't get anything this cool at Spotlight. So I have cut out the 2 major pattern pieces. I didn't quite have enough fabric. The pattern said I needed 2.1 meters. I bought 2.5, but with the width of it and the way the pattern is, wasn't perfect. I really should have done this on camera, but this, I did not have enough fabric. So I sewed it together using the spare, because I have plenty of fabric and there'll be plenty for the lining pieces, but I didn't have a large expanse enough to do this. It's not perfect, but I'm pretty proud of how it turned out because I've never done that before, and it was surprisingly hard to get my head around that. I'm really not good at reading patterns. Let's see. I feel like I should finish edges before I pin the pieces together. All right, let's do that. I was just trying to set up my phone with my incredibly broken ring light, and I think it's safe to say that won't be working anymore. So that's unfortunate. Welcome to bad lighting. I mean, it wasn't particularly good to start with, but it's gonna be even worse. Congratulations. I mean, it still kind of works as a phone stand. Ah! Famous last words. I'm in a bad mood today. I don't know why, I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and I'm feeling incredibly flat. This is the state of the room. Normally it's clean, like when I'm not working, but when I'm in the middle of a project, I live near a school. But when I'm in the middle of a project, I don't clean anything. If you don't see Pigeon in the room, it's a safe bet that I have shut the door because she is my little shadow. She will follow me pretty much everywhere. Please, please don't scratch the carpet, darling. Hi. Yeah, so that's why she hasn't been in the past few ones, because she kept ripping up my pattern, so she got banned. Here's the current state of the pants. It's open on one leg, but the other leg's sewn up. I'm actually really happy with the state of them at the moment. Everything's lining up well, except for some reason here. And it's not like I pinned it wrong, because it's also overlapping on that same side. There's too much. So I have no idea why that's happened, but I mean, everything else still fits together perfectly. So I'm just kind of going to ignore that and hem it under when I do it. So this is the leg seam. This is that square where I had to fix up the fabric. I think it is really barely noticeable at all. I'm actually really proud of how that turned out. There we go. Alrighty. Now this magnet, I don't know whether I should blur this out or not. It's the vet that my cats go to. I put it, you're probably wondering why it's there. It's magnetic. If you just get a flat fridge magnet and you put it on your seam allowance. So this seam allowance is 1.5 centimeters. So on the little plate marker for 1.5 centimeters, you just put the magnet, and that way you're not trying to line it up with a really tiny line. You just have the magnet and it stays. Oh, my bobbin ran out that far before my seam. Ah. I'm just trying to pin something. Oh, there are pins in my lap, puss. Oh, careful, careful. No, not over there. There are pins over there. Yep, there we go. Can I scooch that from under your bum, please? Okay, so I've got the underlap, and it is pinned. I don't even know if you can tell what's going on here. Here are the pants, so that's the inside waistband. Here is where it goes down. Here is where I've got the underlap. So I think it wanted me to... Okay, I have no idea what I've just said. I'm fighting with storage on my phone. But underlap, pin to this side. I sew that, and then I fold it over like that. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna do it. Okie dokie. I know what it got me to do. So essentially, we now have this bit. Yay! Now I need to hand stitch it on the back. Slip stitch it down so it's not a pocket. So it will be nice and neat, encasing all the extra seams. Ta-da! So I'm gonna hand stitch that. And I think that's pretty much it. And then I've got to hem the ends of the pants, the bottoms of the pants, and then put on the buttons. And that's it. I'm doing the buttonholes. These are my machine settings. So this is like a rounded buttonhole, it has a curve at the end. This is a square one. But if you see the default settings, it's kind of loose and I don't like that look. So I think that's much better. But the reason I did it first is I need to measure it so I know, because a buttonhole goes backwards, so you start here and then it goes do 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 do. So I need to measure here to make sure they're all in a row. The actual pattern has 4 buttons, but because I got these ones, I thought they matched. I'm gonna do 8 because they're so small. I finished the pants. The buttons, they took me multiple days because as much as I had them in the right spot, just because the first hole is in the right spot doesn't mean the other 3 holes will be in the right spot, and so you have about that much margin every time you sew a button for it to be in the wrong spot, even if you got the first hole in the right spot. And that's not much, but when you have 8 buttons, by the time you get to the end, none of them are in the right position. So I had to completely undo them and do it again, and that drove me a bit batty. Now I did want to put pockets in these pants, but with all the tailoring I didn't get around to that. So maybe I'll do that in the future. I could just unpick them and do it, but right now, frankly, I'm fine. But they didn't fit. They were too big in the waist. So what I did, instead of tailoring it, I got, you know, like on waistcoats, I did a little triangle-y thing with 2 of the spare buttons, and that's worked perfectly. And it means if I gain or lose weight, I can just move where the buttons are and it will still fit. So wonderful. But I think they turned out really well. I think they're fun. They're flowy enough that they feel like a skirt, because frankly I way prefer wearing skirts, but yeah. And that piece that I had to piecemeal together, it actually has gotten folded up in the hem, so you can't even see it on the inside. You can just see it there. When doing wide pants, I really like to give a really thick hem because I think it helps it keep its shape, kind of like a really gentle horsehair sort of thing. Keeps them nice and flowy. So this is what I'm dealing with. This is the only thing I have to hold my phone. It's a ring light stand that I bought for probably $15 from Kmart many years ago. And it promptly broke like the first 2 or 3 times I used it. So right now it's duct tape, well, packing tape together with a paddle pop stick and a metal stick that came off a broken like foot massager. And this, but that can't hold itself up even when my phone isn't in it. So, oh, yes, stay. I can't touch it.